John.
We've got Pierre Caffer pushing too hard. Oh, he's had a massive off there as he hits the curb on the inside of the circuit, and it's so hard to go off and hit anything here, but the speed at which he went off at the final corner, completely misjudging the turning to the last corner, and he will be able to get in to the pits. He's done damage to the legality panel on the right rear side. Now, did he have an issue? He may have had a braking issue or a stuck throttle issue, because he came in at unabated speed to the final right-hand corner. Thanks, Nick, for keeping an eye on that. He will be able to come straight into the pits, and Nick is already down at Pecom. Remember, the last time they had a pole position was Spa, and they won that. They were on pole today. Manassian fought back from first lap incidents. Is this some kind of long distance problem that has come about from the bashing that the car took earlier on? Nick Damon down at Pecom.
The car now comes into the pit and certainly put a pretty hefty whack on the back of the car as he hit the barriers. As we say, it's very odd, it went so fast. They're quite tough the back end of this car, but yeah, it's taken out the whole rear section. And the question will be whether it's a case that they can just replace the wings and the Bugatti panel, which is like two sections, or whether they're going to have to do some more work. It's got some slight damage at the front, I'm sure, from a previous accident. In fairness, it's refueled it, and actually part of the back end, which got crushed, it looks fine, but obviously it will depend whether the mouthpiece have been damaged and whether they can just do a very simple tail piece, off they go.
Thanks, Nick. Keep an eye on that. But that is a car that is then out of second position, and Wolfgang Reep at a distance of just over 30 seconds. Second place now for Greaves, for Zytek, and for Nissan. And for Nissan GT Academy. What a result. That's a really bizarre accident for Pierre Caffer. And I would be very surprised if that was a driver error. I think, Nick, and I don't know, clearly nobody's going to want to talk to you now, I'd be surprised if they weren't looking at brakes or something as well as the damage.
The man with a Brembo box and a caliper.
Oh, really?
Now, front to rear, but obviously there's been he's literally just ripped it out from polystyrene, and there's a Brembo caliper on the floor waiting to be fitted. I'm not sure which front or back it's waiting to go, because obviously that it would say you're right there, it didn't retard like it was supposed to, hence the incredible speed it took through that corner. If he'd made it, wow, it'd been a sector time.
Yeah, it would have been a fabulous sector time. We can laugh about this because Pierre Caffer's fine. I'm looking at a man waving a piece of hose that's not attached to something I think it should be.
Yeah, they've had a front right failure of I think it's the union joints, because obviously they have dry brake joints to make it easy to change them. And it looks like it's dry broken when it shouldn't, and he had no front right brake, and he may have lost everything, or he may have just lost one brake. It's the same effect. If you lose one front brake, that's a huge percentage of the overall braking effect of the race car.
That looks to have turned it into a three-way battle in P2, what was a four-way battle. But just trying to pick out the bones of how it's panning out, John, because it is quite hard to kind of keep track of what's going on in that P2, because it changes so often. But most of the time, the number 26 car, the G-Drive car of Mike Conway, is leading that class. Now, the only time that he doesn't lead the class is immediately after his pit stop, when the class lead is taken over by the number 24, now driven by Olivier Pla car. Now, they've each got to make one more pit stop before the end of the race. However, I've got a feeling, and this is actually it's more than a feeling, by the way that the pits window is working, the Mike Conway car hasn't quite got enough fuel to get to the flag, whereas when after it's made its next pit stop, so it'll make another pit stop, but it won't quite then have enough fuel to get to the flag, which could mean that the number 24 car, Olivier Pla, is the one that has the advantage. So that's the way the projection is looking in P2. Meanwhile, the race leader is back in the pits again, John.
He's got a long lead now over the Audi as far as the seats concerned. He's done several more laps than Lotterer. That's the driver change this time. Davison's got out, so it's should be Sebastian Buemi getting in. It's his turn. And a sort of run to victory now. They're a long way ahead and they're leading on stops as well, Paul.
Yes, 27 laps and 26 laps with the last two stints for the Toyota by Anthony Davidson. Got that extra lap out of the first tank full of fuel. He couldn't quite do it on the second tank full of fuel. So he's done 53 laps in his stint, whereas the Audis can only do 25 laps on their tank full of diesel. So it is definite that the Audi has to refuel more often, but it's basically 1 or 2 laps is the difference. But over the course of the race, that we've now done 6 pit stops, 6 refueling stops, it does begin to add up.
It's Paul Trustwell. Before that, you heard powered by Nissan pit reporter Nick Damon. And we have just over an hour and a quarter still to go. Championships still to be decided. Graham Goodwin's working on the championship points at the moment. P2 still to be decided. It's 40 seconds now, and Ollie Pla coming at a rate of knots into this as well. 26, 24, 26, 41, 24 and 35. I think still possibly have a chance of this. It's all going to depend on the pit stops. That's the 26 Orica Nissan, the 41 Zytek Graves Nissan, the 24 Morgan Oak and the 35 Morgan Oak, driven at the moment by Conway, Wright, Pla and Baguette. And they are all... I'm just trying to work out whether Bertrand Baguette is just in front of the leader and still on the lead lap. I think he might just be. I'll wait till he goes through the next sector.
No, he's a lap behind.
He is a lap behind, is he? Right, okay. Yeah. So that's going to take a little bit more. But again, it's all going to be on the pit stops. And Pierre Caffer's car has not come out of the pits yet after that very scary looking interlude for him. And more than the odd person saying how that might have ended up differently a few years ago, that was a very, very quick falling off by Pierre. We'll have a quick listen to the 8 radio. This is Toyota.
Anthony says there's a lot of grip on the track, so it's quite easy to drive at the moment. The car is feeling good. Just don't take risk. Keep up the pace, but don't take risk.
A few years ago, Adam Prescott at Radio Le Mans and at Specutainment says a few years ago that car may well have flipped, but thanks to the fin and the pressure holes, it didn't. And I'd say here to that. Whatever anybody thinks about the FIA, their commitment to safety both on the track and on the road, in fact, with their Safe is Fast campaign and FIA road safety is exemplary. And let's not forget, it was an joint FIA ACO working group that came up with the changes to the prototypes as we see them now, with those holes instead of the louvres in the top of the wing.